Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to enjoy a very interesting story. The lesson today is about an excerpt from a famous story called Alice in Wonderland. It's a great story. I recommend that you guys read the whole novel. I'm sure you will love it. Here are the highlights of today's lesson. First, I will tell you guys what is an excerpt. Next, I will give you a short introduction to the novel Alice in Wonderland. Once we are done with all that, it will be story time. So, you might be wondering what the word excerpt means. An excerpt is actually a small portion of a large body of text. For example, Surah Fatiha is an excerpt from the Holy Quran. When we take a small portion from a large amount of text, like a novel, essay, article, or a very long speech, we call it an excerpt. Now that we are done with the boring part, let us move on to the interesting bit. The chapter Alice in your book is actually an excerpt from the novel Alice in Wonderland, like I said before. The novel was written by Lewis Carroll and was first published in 1865. Yes, you heard that right. This novel was written more than 150 years ago. This story is about a little girl named Alice who follows a rabbit down a rabbit hole, and down there she has an adventure of a lifetime. Keep in mind that this is a fantasy story, which means that most of the things mentioned in it are not real. The chapter in your book is a very small portion from the beginning of the novel. Alright, now, it's story time. Now I will tell you the part of the story mentioned in your chapter. Pay attention and enjoy. The chapter begins with the point when Alice has fallen down the rabbit hole and is now in a strange room. Here she finds a glass table with a golden key on it. Alice looks around the room and sees a small curtain hanging on the wall close to the ground. Alice goes to the curtain and pulls it aside. Behind the curtain, Alice finds a tiny door about 15 inches tall. Alice opens the door and kneels down on the ground to look inside. She sees a very beautiful garden on the other side, but she's too big to go through, so she closed the door. Alice is quite surprised with all this and looks around in amazement. When Alice looks at the glass table a second time, she sees that now a bottle has appeared on it and it has the words "Drink me" written on it. Since Alice is a curious and brave girl, she dares to drink the liquid inside the bottle. The liquid tastes like a mixed flavor of cherry tart, custard, pineapple, roast turkey, coffee, and hot buttered toast. Alice likes the taste very much and drinks all of it. As soon as Alice drinks the liquid, she starts to have a funny feeling. When she looks down, she sees that she is shrinking like a collapsing telescope or a car or radio antenna. Pretty soon, Alice is only 10 inches tall, small enough to go through the door that she had found earlier. This is where the chapter in your book ends, but the story goes on. I recommend that you guys get yourself the novel and read the whole story. It's awesome. Here we have an exercise from the book. It's actually exercise A. Don't worry about the answers. If you have listened closely to the lecture, you will find all the answers there. This here is exercise B from your book. In this exercise, you have to match the sentences in each column so they combine to make one complete sentence. For example, the first sentence in column A matches with the sentence labeled D in column B. It's a very simple and straightforward exercise. I want you guys to do it on your own without any help from a family member. Similar to exercise B, Here you have to match words with their meanings. You should be able to match most of the words on your own, but if you have any problems, I recommend that you try the dictionary. For homework, you have to complete exercises A, B, and C in your copies. Make sure that you attempt all the exercises on your own, and once you are done, then ask someone older to have a look at what you have written. But first, you absolutely have to try it on your own.